In this video, we are going to put on our blue team hat and do a Sherlock from Hack the Box. Now, if you've never heard of what a Sherlock is over on Hack the Box, it is like their blue team challenges. We get to do forensics or incident response, and in this video, we are going to do some forensics, and the Sherlock I'm going to show off to you today is completely free. You do not need a Hack the Box sub to do this, so I would encourage you, log into your Hack the Box account and follow along with me. And also, this is the first Sherlock I have ever done, but I do want to be upfront. I did this offline, I completed it offline, but it was relatively easy. So you could probably do this on your own, or hey, follow along with me and let's do this and learn this together. The one thing that you might need is a Windows VM. Now, if you follow my content for any length of time, you know I'm not a huge fan of Windows. I run Ubuntu as my primary OS, and then generally you see me hacking in my Kali VM on these streams, but I also have a Windows VM. This is useful when I'm doing Active Directory hacking, Azure hacking, and here an incident response. So let's go ahead and dive into my Windows 11 virtual machine right here. And if you've never done Sherlocks, let me show you first how to access this. Over here, once you get logged in on the main sidebar right here, you click Sherlocks. And then from here, we can go ahead and see it's right here, Crown Jewel 2. If you don't see it, you can just search for it, Crown Jewel, if I can type it 2, and it should pop up. So it's right there. I already have it open. So go ahead and click that, get it opened up, and let me show you what we are met with. So it says Pharrell's domain environment is pure chaos, which is never a good thing. They just got another alert from the domain controller of NTDS.dit database being exfiltrated. Now, if you don't know what that is, the NTDS database is like the Active Directory database that includes all of the users and all of the hashes. If you've ever heard of a DC sync attack that's sort of similar, except for you're not actually downloading the NTDS database, but you are essentially exfiltrating it by doing domain replication. But what happened in this instance, this is very much a post-exploitation technique. Someone got administrative privileges on the domain, and they downloaded this database file, and with that, they have all the hashes for offline use. They can crack the hashes, they can pass the hash. The really terrible attack that you can do if you have all the hashes is a golden ticket attack with a KRBTGT accounts hash, and a golden ticket attack allows you to authenticate to the domain controller as any user. And the crazy thing about a golden ticket attack is even if the user changes their password, you still have persistent access to their account. So this is not a good thing. Just one day prior, you responded to an alert on the same domain controller where an attacker dumped it via the VSS admin utility. However, you managed to delete the dump files, kick the attacker out of the DC, and restore a clean snapshot. Now they again managed to access the DC with the domain admin account with their persistent access in their environment. We don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, I'm saying a golden ticket attack, or maybe they did a pass the hash attack. This time they are abusing NTDS util to dump the database. Help Pharrell in these chaotic times. Now, I did already complete this, and I don't see a way in Hack the Box to reset like the room. In Try Hack Me, once you complete a room, you can reset it and it removes all the flags. I don't see that in Hack the Box. So what I ended up doing is I kind of recreated this in Notion, which is actually how I took notes for this scenario when I first went through it. But you can see what I did is each question that we need to answer, I just added them here in Notion so we can work through it here on Notion. But if you are doing it for the first time, you can follow along right there on the main Hack the Box platform. But do encourage you, start a Notion notebook or Obsidian or OneNote or Cherry Tree in order to take notes as we work through this. But let's go ahead and fill this out. Let's first say our scenario, and we can just make a text box here. We'll just call this text, and we will copy this from right here. So we have the information, and we can begin with our analysis. Let me go and make this a word wrap so it does that. There we go. And we can begin with our analysis. So if you're following along, the first question that they end up asking is this one. When utilizing NTS util.exe to dump it on a disk, it simultaneously deploys the Microsoft Shadow Copy service. What is the most recent timestamp at which this service entered the running state, signifying the possible initiation of the NTDS dumping process? Now you're probably like, wait, what? How do we know that? Well, if you're new to Sherlocks, each Sherlock has files to download. So let's go ahead and download those files right here. And we'll download it as a .zip, and the password for all of them is hacktheblue. So we can go ahead and open up that .zip. I'll go to my downloads and my downloads folder right here, and here's our crown jewel 2. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and we'll go over to Documents, and let's go ahead and make a new folder, and we'll just call this Hack the Box. You can see how often I use my Windows VM, which is not often, but it comes in handy for things like this, and we will call this Crown Jewels. Did I spell it right? Jewels 2. I think so. We're just going to go with that spelling, even if I spelled it wrong, and we'll drop it in there. Now let's go ahead and unzip this. We can just right-click and open with, can I just extract all? Let's try that. Extract. And look at that. Unexpected errors keeping you from copying the file. That's because I don't think the built-in, yeah, that's not going to be there. The built-in file extractor here on Windows, I don't believe can actually extract this file. We need to download something like 7-zip. So let's go ahead and do that together. We'll just search for 7-zip, and we will go ahead and download this. And we'll do the .exe because we're on Windows. Freaking so much junk. Windows just has so much bloatware, essentially, that's approved by Windows, which is what drives me crazy. Ubuntu's so much cleaner, so much easier. But there we go. It says it's installed. All right, cool. Bet it's installed. Let's see if it's actually installed Windows. Right-click. Right-click. All right, apparently that doesn't work. 7-zip. See, Windows makes everything more complicated than it needs to be. Let's see if we can just like add a file. Operation not supported. Okay, of course, it's not freaking supported. Crown Jewels. There we go. And let's extract this. And our password is hacktheblue. Show password. That's what I'm doing. Hack the blue. And we'll extract it right there. And we will click OK. Windows, of course, adding another step to what I'm trying to do. And now we have our artifacts. Beautiful. Now, if we open this up in a terminal, so we'll open in terminal right here, and we do dir, you can see that these are .evtx files. Now, if you know Windows, you know that .evtx is Windows Event Viewer. So with Windows Event Viewer, we can open these logs up and look at them a little bit closer. Now, you're able to do similar stuff on Linux with Chainsaw and other tools, but I'll just be honest with you, that was way more hackerish than I'm able to do. It's all like trying to parse this on the command line, and I found it very confusing when I was watching it. If you want to see how to do this on Linux and parse everything on the command line, IPSec has a really good walkthrough on this room, but I'll show you how to do it all within Windows in the built-in Windows Event Viewer. So we now have these files. We can go ahead and close out our PowerShell, and let's open Event Viewer. We can just start typing it here on Windows, and we will open it up. Now, Event Viewer, we'll make this full screen, and can I make it any bigger? Probably not because it's Windows. Nope, you can't zoom in that I can see. Let's see, View. I don't even know if you can zoom in. No, because it's Windows. You probably have to pay extra money to be able to zoom in on Event Viewer or something stupid like that. So I apologize if you can't see this super clear, especially if you're watching on mobile, but we'll still do my best to explain what is going on. Step number 1 is let's go ahead and open up our saved log. So over here on the right side, we have this Open Save Log button, and we will click that, and let's go ahead and grab these logs. We'll go to Crown Jewels, Crown Jewel, Artifacts. Can I open all of them? Probably not. Okay, we'll just start with the application one, and we'll just call this application Hack the Box. We'll hit OK, and now let's just open each one of those saved logs. We'll do security, and we'll call it security Hack the Box like so, and let's open up the last saved log of the system one. We'll call it system. Oops, it was already system dot hack the box. All right, beautiful. Now that we have done that, let's jump back over to Notion and see exactly what we are looking for. If I can get it to scroll. So here we go. When utilizing NTDS.ut.exe to dump NTDS on disk, it simultaneously deploys a Microsoft Shadow copy service. So that's going to be something we want to look into. What is the most recent timestamp at which this service entered the running state, signifying the possible initiation of the NTDS dumping process? Now, if you do a little bit of Googling on this, you know that you want to look for the event ID 7036, for that is the event ID for the Service Control Manager. I think I'm saying that correctly. And once we find the Service Control Manager, we want to look through there for the Shadow copy service. And it looks like we want to find the most recent timestamp. So let's see if we are able to do that together. We can already see the 7036, but we can go ahead on the system one here, right click, filter current log, and let's just set it so we only see that timestamp. All right, there we go. And it looks like this is showing it in the ascending order, or descending order would be the correct one. And we want to look for that shadow copy service down here. So we can kind of glance through here and see if we see it. I see one right there. The Microsoft Shadow Copy Provider Service entered the running state. This is also still driving me crazy. Surely there's a way to zoom in on this, right? Maybe there really isn't. Okay, I'm going to try a few things. Control plus, Control scroll, Control Shift plus. All right, it doesn't zoom in. So you guys will just have to live with me while we look at this in the small text. It's small for me as well, so apologies for you watching on YouTube. But we have the Microsoft Software Shadow Copy Provider Service entered the running state, and we need to go ahead and grab the time. We see a timestamp right here, but what you really need to do to get the correct answer is, so if we go to Details right here, and then underneath Details, we want to click System, and then underneath System, we have a time right here. Let's go ahead and copy that and drop back over to Notion and drop that into our notes. And you just need to delete the T. So your answer is going to be this: 2020-04, 05-15, 05, 39, 55 is the time at the most recent time that it ran. Let me see if that is correct. If we jump over to my task when I did this, 05-15, 5, 39, 55, 05-15, 5, 39, 55. So that is the correct time. So if you're following along, go ahead and drop that into Hack the Box and get the credit for that answer. And here it says identify the full path of the NTDS file, of the dumped NTDS file. I apologize, I'm still learning how to talk. Let's go over to Event Viewer, and for this one, we want to look over at the application log, and really we're looking at a file path where it shows the NTDS at a place where it wouldn't normally be, and we can just kind of glance through here and see if we're able to find any interesting database files here. So we can go through here, and we see this one right here, but that's a normal database file. We can keep jumping through here and see if we are able to find anything. Keep on going through, and here this looks interesting right here. This is like I believe a normal place to have it, but look at this. We have C Windows temp dump temp, which definitely is not a normal directory in the temp directory in Windows. Active directory NTDS.dit. So that looks like where the attacker put the malicious file to then download it. Let's go ahead and grab that, and we'll copy that. Control C. Go over to Notion, and we'll drop that into our full path. And we can go ahead and verify that that is the correct answer by looking over at Hack the Box and seeing if that's the flag I got. So we have C, Windows temp, dump temp, Active Directory, NTDS.dit, which is correct. I think I just forgot the .dit. Yeah, the .dit. So let's add that to the end of mine. If it would let me type. There we go. Not capital. Thank you. When was the database dump created on the disk? Well, now we want to look for that same event, which we are in right here. And I believe for this answer, knowing that the database engine detached a database, so that's when it was, I don't know if that's when it was actually dumped. When was the database dump created on the disk? It might be that one. Otherwise, if we scroll down, I'm just looking down through here. Here it is right here. The database engine created a new database. So that's when it was created, and this is essentially when it was done, or when the database is ready. So the database engine created a new database. There's our database and file. If we go to Details here again, go to System, we can grab the timestamp right here. Control C. Jump back over to Notion here, and let's paste that in. We just removed the T from the middle, and I believe that's the correct answer. 2024 05-15 539-56, and let's see if I am correct. 2024 05-15 539-56. That is correct. So we are working our way through this. So far, we have identified when the most recent time this tool was used to dump it. We found the full path of the dump file. That's not really going to help us though, because if the attacker got their hands on this, like I said before, they have full persistent access. The only way to kick someone out the golden ticket attack is to change the password of the KRBTG account twice, and each time you have to wait for it to fully replicate. So honestly, this is a bad thing for the environment that we are doing these forensics on, but we will keep on moving through it. It says, when was the newly dumped database considered complete and ready for use? And I actually just pointed that out. You notice if we go up here on General, it says the database engine created a new database, and if we jump up one, It says its format version is being held back. I don't know what that means. But if we jump up to this one, it says a database engine detached a database. Event ID 327 is whenever it detaches a database. And the one it detached, at least the malicious one right here, is this right here. And we just need the timestamp. So let's go over to details, do system again, and we will grab the timestamp right there, jump back over to Notion, enter in the information, and just remove the T in the middle so it matches what Hack the Box is looking for. So I have 0515, 053958, so just a little bit after that. Let's see if that is correct. And there it is, 0515, 53958, that is correct. And now it says event logs use event sources to track events coming from different sources. Which event source provides database status data like creation and detachment? And you guys see a note that I had here from when I was going through my own notes. I apparently forgot to remove this, but hey, it's helpful for all of us to know this. Microsoft Windows eSent is an embeddable and transactional database engine which is used for data storage. So in other words, when we're looking for an event source for database information, we're looking for the eSent or ESENT, and you can see that right away in Event Viewer. So even if we didn't know that, look at all of this database stuff like 323, 103, if we go over to General, all these different things with database information, you can see that all of them are coming from the source of eSent, showing us that is the source. And if we do some Googling on that, so just like, what is Windows eSent? You can see it is the embeddable transactional database engine. And you can read a little more information on that, but that's why that is the source in Event Viewer for all of our database files. Let's jump back over to this and see what other questions we need to answer. Actually, this one, eSent. And if we jump over to Hack the Box, you can just verify that answer is correct. And there it is, eSent. 2 more questions. We are almost done with this first Sherlock. It says when NTDS.dit is used to dump the database, it enumerates certain user groups to validate the privileges of the account being used. Which 2 groups are enumerated by the NTDS.util.exe process? Give the groups in alphabetical order, joined by a comma space. So let's go ahead and dive into this. I believe if we look over at security is going to be my guess on this, showing group information over here in security. And we can glance through some of these files and see if we can find what information we are looking for. I'm going to make this part a little bit bigger so we can see the information here. And we actually see it right away. A security-enabled local group membership was enumerated. We have a group called backup operators, and let's see if we have any other groups. And here we have administrators. So right away, if we switch over to our security log, we see them right away at the top. We see this enumeration going on between backup operators and administrators. So therefore, our answer for that one would be administrators, if I can spell administrators, comma, backup operators. And we can go ahead and check and Hack the Box if that is the correct answer. And it is administrators and backup operators. And now we have one more question here. It says, you are tasked to find the login time for the malicious session. Using the logon ID, find the time when the user logon session started. Well, I'm guessing that's also going to be in security. If you do a little bit of Googling, one thing you want to look for is any type of Kerberos authentication being performed. Because of course, if the attacker is logging into a malicious session, it's going to be going through Kerberos in our Active Directory environment. So we can filter by the event log 4768. If you didn't know that, you can do some Googling, do some ChatGPTing, and you'll find that very quickly. So let's sort first by 4768 to clean up our logs a little bit. So we'll filter current log 4768 and we will hit OK. And when we do that, we have 3 events. We have this event, but this is a machine account. We know it's a machine account because of the $ symbol right there. So that's not going to be what the attacker logged into. We jump up one, we have another machine account, jump up another one, and here we have an actual account, and a Kerberos authentication ticket was requested for the administrator account. What was the question again? Use the login ID, find the time when the user login session started. Well, if we jump once again over to details, hit system, we can grab the time from right here. We'll copy that, drop it into our notes right there, remove the T so we have the format Hack the Box wants, and that happened on 0515 at 5:36:31. We can go ahead and check to see if my answer is correct there. We have 0515 5:36:31, and with that, we successfully completed Crown Jewel 2. Now, this is the first Sherlock. I have ever done. I mean, I looked at the Sherlocks a few times, but honestly, I was overwhelmed because it was just a lot of data that I had to parse through. But then I decided, hey, let me check out this Crown Jewel Sherlock. It seems to be easy rated, and maybe I can at least stumble my way through it and figure it out. Once I downloaded the files, I initially thought, hey, I'll do the IPsec way and be a cool hacker using Linux. And here's the thing. Use the right tool for the job. Sure, Linux can do this, but if you're doing this in the real world and you have event viewer logs, it's going to be a lot easier for you just to use Windows. So one lesson that all of us should take away from this is, although I normally use Kali or Parrot when I'm doing ethical hacking, you should always have a Windows VM. Even if you're not a fan of Windows like I am, Windows VMs come in handy for forensics, such as what I just showcased. They come in handy for Active Directory hacking. There's certain attacks that are just easier to perform from Windows, and same with Azure. There's certain things built into the Windows PowerShell for Azure that is going to make Azure pen testing a lot easier for you. So hey, hopefully you learned something through this video. Let me know what you thought about the Sherlock, and if you did it right alongside of me, let me know if there is a way to zoom in on Event Viewer that I just couldn't figure out because Windows has a bad UI compared to Linux. But let me know your thoughts on this. Would love to hear from you. Believe it or not, I do read all the comments on my videos, so let me know if something was confusing, if something was helpful, and I would love to hear from you over in the comment section. I will talk to you there.